First and foremost, a big up to Stocks FC, great company that have been sponsoring us for the last month or so. Footballer trading platform. And if you sign up with our link, QR code on screen right now and link in description below, you get 5 free loan players, which means you get packs to open, 5 packs, 5 players, and any profits the players make, you get to keep by the end of the loan duration. And we've been having a lot of fun over recent days on Stocks FC, haven't we?
Because a lot of our predictions coming to fruition.
Exactly, you know. You got to listen to us more often, guys. You got to be listening to us because you'd be in the money right now if you did. Let's go and have a look at our portfolio.
So Richarlison, massive 126% increase since we brought him in. And we brought him in just after we heard about the news of Solanke being injured. And obviously he's come in, he started yesterday, he's scored against Everton, and now people are thinking he's going to get an extended run of the team. Now Solanke's confirmed out till March, so he's gone up. Romero, everyone's gearing up for his return, he's up 33%. We told you about Kevin Sade, that he was potentially going to go up after all his kind of stocks got deleted. Now he's up 22%. Van der Ven now out of nowhere, in anticipation of his return, he was down about 20%. Now he's up 15%, so he's improving. We know Foden, Decky, Mateta now all up. And the big losers as well are the losses are starting to decrease, with Becker was down 30% and he's only down 3% now. And then Son as well, he was down about 25, he's only 16, and Maddison as well getting close. So our portfolio is looking healthy at the moment.
Yeah, we are currently on a $16 profit, where a week ago the account was showing a loss. So very happy that I think the success story so far is definitely Richarlison with 126% profit.
I'm telling you, if he gets
we got him in before the markets knew about the move.
If he gets a couple more goals, guys, he could be shooting right up even further.
Absolutely. But that is Stocks FC. We'll be giving you daily kind of what our thoughts are on the markets, who we think is going to be the movers. And yeah, we've been pretty good. We're pretty on the money so far. So yeah, obviously only put in what you can afford to lose. It's not supposed to be to make a second wage or anything like that. It's just a bit of fun, guys. But link is in the description below. QR code on screen. Go show Stocks FC some love. But let's get into the Tottenham update, and let's start off with some injury news. As Ange has been speaking in the press conference today, and he says Jed is still sore from the weekend. He got a knock, so he's a doubt. Pape's still a doubt. Reguilon should be okay. With him saying Reguilon should be okay, does that kind of think that maybe he wasn't okay a few days ago?
Potentially, but he was on the bench, wasn't he, against Everton, albeit he didn't come on. So I don't know whether something happened in training with him or not. But it's interesting that he mentioned him, because obviously he's been very reluctant to use him this season, and a lot of the time he hasn't even mentioned him in press conferences, and now he's saying Reggie should be okay. So maybe that implies that he's going to be starting on Sunday.
I think so.
Obviously with Gray, completely falling to his knees at the end of that game in exhaustion. We know Spence, as you say, he's a doubt. So I think might have no choice but to put Reguilon in. Unless, you can't put... we said about Romero, you mentioned that, have you? Romero?
No, Romero? I was about to get onto that.
Okay, so it's a bit of a weird one with Spence, because he's had a week break and nothing suggested he was... Because he played 90 minutes, didn't he, against Everton?
He just said he was feeling sore after the game.
So maybe be on the bench.
Yeah, I hope so, and we just don't need more injury problems right now. Last night in Hoffenheim, we had 11 senior players. That's all we had, with Mikey Moore and Will Lancashire being the most experienced players on the bench. So we just can't afford any more players to go down. We really can't. And we need signings through the door, people, desperately. We needed it desperately 3 weeks ago, and we're still sitting here 24th of January with no signings. But Spence is definitely a major concern going into it. He also was mentioning Cuti Romero and Mickey van der Ven. He says they're the next cabs off the rank in terms of the long-term ones. So they've got a bit to do in terms of getting some training into them with the team. He did mention, I think, before the game yesterday, that Cuti will probably be a week to 10 days.
Yeah. A week. When did he say that?
I think before the game, before the Hoffenheim game.
A week to 10 days. I don't remember him saying that specific. But
yeah, he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
A week to 10 days. So maybe it's the Liverpool game that we're looking at.
And obviously Mickey van der Ven will be returning to training next week, we've heard. And that's kind of, it hasn't been confirmed by Postecoglou, I don't think, but has been kind of insinuated.
He said next week he'll be... Yeah,
he did say it.
He said next week he'll be returning to training, but he said he's going to be, you have to be very careful with them, and the plan is to get a lot of training in them before they're ready to kind of come back into the team. And he said mainly Romero was with the team yesterday just because it was a slower kind of session, he said, slower paced one. Obviously, everyone's focusing on recovery, and he said it was giving the team a bit of a lift, having them training with him and seeing that he's very close to returning. So that's obviously positive. Let's just hope he's back as soon as possible. But we know what happened last time, so I'm guessing they're trying to not have a repeat of that.
Sakuti's being used as like a cheerleader morale booster at the moment.
Well, that's better than nothing at the moment, I guess. So we'll see. We'll see when he's back. He's obviously not going to play on Sunday. Probably not on Thursday as well, but maybe that Brentford game, I think he can target.
I think just keep these two on ice until the Liverpool game, if possible, for Van de Ven to make the Liverpool game, but for particularly Romero. I think just keep them on ice till the Liverpool game. Maybe but
it's also a risk just to throw them in straight away.
I'm saying maybe get moments off the bench.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So I wouldn't want them to start Brentford, but maybe, 20 minutes at the end or something.
Yeah, I think it's important to get a bit of legs in them before the Liverpool game, just so they get a bit of a feel. They're not coming back into it completely rusty.
Yeah.
But obviously, look, these are players who have had injuries before, so it's not like they're not used to coming back from injury. So I'm sure even if they do come straight back, they could do a job. But I think you want to try your best to get them back into that game at the best condition possible.
Yeah. They keep saying Wilson Odobert should return to training in early February, pretty much in line with the news that we brought you a couple of weeks back. So that's a positive because Paul O'Keefe was saying potentially not until late in the season. I don't know what late in the season means.
Well, it seems, as we've said, like the defenders are coming back in a clump, and then maybe the forwards are going to come back in a clump as well, with Odobert, Werner, Brennan as well, all going to come back similar time. Obviously, Solanke not till March, unfortunately. But it's just how the situation's going. And then, I don't know when, hopefully, Sarr and Basuma, they're not too bad. I think he said on Basuma, he's a doubt for the weekend, but he's hopeful he'll be fit for Elfsborg. So hopefully that means he's not too serious. Yeah. And Sarr, we'll have to wait and see on Sunday if he's in the squad or not, I guess.
Yeah, I think Sarr is hit and miss for the weekend, so hopefully he won't be out for too long. And then Paul O'Keefe said something as well in line with the information that we've been giving you over the last couple of weeks, saying Destiny Udogie is on track to return in just over 3 weeks' time. Yeah,
which is actually a fairly positive update because we thought potentially he could be out for longer. In the sense that he got a hamstring tear, I think, and at that point you're worried. Obviously, it's going to be longer than it has been. He got it into the Southampton game, so I guess that would have been 3 months already, wouldn't it? Would that be 3 months by the time it comes around, February 10th?
Yeah, because he got injured. The Southampton game, which was
mid-December, wasn't it?
Was the 15th,
2 months,
15th of December. So
it would have been 2 months.
Yeah,
I guess
just shy of 2 months.
Yeah, which is I guess what we heard. But there was always a fear it could be worse than that. So let's just hope he comes back in good condition. But again, you're just worried he comes back, and we've had so many re-injuries. I think that is the big issue when we're talking about this injury crisis, is the fact that this season we've had so many players come back and get re-injured. There's almost the reason why I think everyone is so down, and obviously we know the results are awful as well. But I think a lot of reason why no one has a lot of hope that we're ever going to get back to a situation like we had earlier in the season where we didn't have as many injuries is because we've had so many re-injuries. So it's hard to believe these players are just going to come back and stay fit when so many times this season they've come back and not done that. So that is obviously, as much as I'm happy these players are coming, there is still that niggling thing where you're saying they're coming back, which is great, but are they going to stay back? Because they haven't so far.
Also on top of that as well, whenever we seem to get players back, other players get injured as well. So look, we just need to get players in terms of the transfer window, and we need to get players back and get them fit and not basically introduce them too early, and be very careful with all the players that we're bringing back at this moment in time. Let's talk about some potential transfers. We're going to go to the Daily Dibling. Florian Plettenberg giving us his daily update on Tyler Dibling, saying RB Leipzig continues to do everything possible to sign Tyler Dibling. After initial talks, RB have the impression that 18-year-old super talent from Southampton is open to a move to the Bundesliga. RB want to sign Dibling either now or by the latest at the start of the new season. Tottenham also remain in very concrete talks with his management. Look, obviously a player injured at the moment, so he can't come in and help us in the immediate future, but maybe he can. If we can sign him now, he'll definitely offer a good option in about a month's time from now into the end of the season. But I just can't see him leaving Southampton in this January transfer window. But I think he'd be a really good option for the summer, like we've all spoken about.
I agree, but it's all in a way, it also not causes a problem, because I know Dibling's a great player and I'm a big fan of him. I wouldn't mind him, but you sign him and all of a sudden, you've got him, Moore and Odobert in the team who you all need to, they've all signed for you, right? They're all here because they want to play. They're all obviously high potential players. But then you've also got Son there, you've got Brennan there. So all of a sudden, we know we need a winger of like who's a bit older with star quality. And all of a sudden, you're looking like where's the room? Who do we? We have to sell probably one of these players if we want to bring another one. If we bring in someone like Dibling, so like bringing another 18-year-old, like is that what we really want right now when we're trying to up the kind of experience in the squad? It just clogs up another space where you need a world-class talent, but. It's also, he's a great talent as well.
Exactly. I do agree with you to a certain extent. I've been like very consistent in saying we need kind of proven quality to come in. But I do feel like Dibling is like an exceptional talent. From what he's shown in Southampton, in the worst side in the Premier League, he's been a shining light in the Premier League, never mind just in that Southampton team. He's been class every time I've seen him play.
I don't disagree. I'm sure he'll be good for us, even in the short term, but is he at the level right now where to bridge the gap in the short term? It's probably going to take time for him to get to that real level where he's at a level where he's getting us near the top of the league. So
yeah, no, I agree with that.
So as much as I want to sign him, I think we should. It shouldn't again negate signing a higher level, more experienced player in that position. But I don't know if we do that, if we are committing such a big fee to him. I think we would say he's probably our winger signing. I don't see us doing both.
Probably. And it'll just be replacing Timo Werner in the squad.
Which isn't bad, but, we need, a proper
and would you
start.
be happy with that? If our wingers for next season, you go into it with, on the right-hand side, you got Dibling and Johnson. On the left-hand side, you got Son, you got Odebear
and Mikey Moore.
And Odebear can play both sides. Would you be happy with that?
I mean, I think on paper it's good, but I don't think for next season, is that enough to get us where we want to be? Maybe. I mean, they're all so young. That's the thing. And obviously Sonny's not getting any younger, though. It's like we don't have anyone. It's like extremes there. It's either someone really getting on a bit or like a teenager who's still developing. I'm not saying they're bad options, and I'm like, if you ask me in 3 years' time if those were options, I'd be like, that they could be an amazing options. But for next season, they might still be lacking potentially.
Yeah, it's a very good point. But I just feel like when someone as special as Dibling, and I do believe he's that special, that you do have to just kind of snap him up. But look, your concerns are definitely valid, and I share the same concerns. But I just would kind of do the deal because he's that good. I really believe that.
But then you have to accept that you have to be patient.
It's also true.
And you're not accepting that right now.
Yeah, I know.
When we've done exactly the same with Bergwijn and Gray. That's what we've done.
I know. And to be honest, those are two of the players that I'm very happy with this season. I'm very happy with Bergwijn and Gray. I actually wanted to get consistent minutes before they started getting consistent minutes, and they are good enough to provide on the platform that we want them to provide and at the level that we want them to provide. But you're talking about being patient. I mean, we're 15th in the league. That's where we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be 15th in the league.
No, I understand that, but that's a different scenario. But I'm talking about being patient with these players, giving them time to bed into the team and signing these players at the expense of more experienced ones because they're such great talents. That is what we've done. And I don't mind going that direction, but we have to be patient with it, and we can't just chuck it all away. I think if at the moment, that's my opinion anyway.
You do think though, like with bringing in Dibling and Son going into the last year of his contract, you do think there could be two wingers that could potentially be bought. Maybe not for next season, but in the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, hopefully.
So anyway, let's talk about a new name into the mixing pot, and that is Evan Ferguson, as Jacob Steinberg says that Tottenham are one of the clubs interested in bringing in Evan Ferguson should he be allowed to leave on loan. I mean, not really getting too much of a look in at Brighton. I mean, you cast your mind back 2 years ago, he burst onto the scene at 18 years of age, scoring bundles of goals. He looked like such a physical presence up there for someone of his age, or even not of someone. He just looked like a physical presence and someone that can put it in the back of the net. But injuries are seeming to have taken his toll on him. He can't seem to get on the pitch consistently, and when he does, he doesn't really set the world alight.
Yeah, you're right, and he's really struggled over the last year, to be honest, and he hasn't seemed to be the same guy who was set the world alight when he, as an 18-year-old, when he was scoring goals for fun. He even scored a hat-trick last season, I remember, against Newcastle, and everyone thought, okay, this guy's really arrived, and due to injuries and lack of consistency, he just hasn't kind of gone on from that, built on that, and he's gone from a striker that was potentially worth 100 million, and all of a sudden they're willing to loan him out and potentially sell him as well. There's even talks of. So Is he a guy right now on a short-term loan that's going to help us massively in the short term? Are we better off giving those minutes to Lancashire? Or B, he's not giving those minutes to Lancashire. So is he going to come in and kind of allow Lancashire to go on loan and then trust him a bit more? Potentially. I don't see getting Ferguson in, to be honest, making a massive difference to us as much as I like him. I think it could make a bit of a difference over the next month, but obviously in 6 weeks' time, Solanke's going to be back, and then we'll have, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have Solanke and Ritchie, which we haven't had all season, and we'll have numbers there in that number 9 position, and then all of a sudden there won't be a massive need for him. I just would much rather a winger, to be honest, than someone like a proper number 9 like Ferguson. Or if we are going to go for number 9, I don't know if I'd rather go for me. I don't know if Ferguson would be the guy. I kind of tempted just to give Lancashire those minutes. I'm not saying Lancashire's better than him. Probably Ferguson's ahead of him, but does Lancashire have the potential to reach Ferguson's level? Probably, if given the minutes.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I'm looking at Evan Ferguson, and what Brighton really need with Evan Ferguson is for him to get consistent minutes at some sort of club, whether it's at Brighton on loan somewhere in the Premier League. He just needs consistent minutes to get those levels again. And I'll prefer to give those minutes to Lancashire as opposed to really helping out Brighton and giving those minutes to Evan Ferguson. And you're looking at, from now until the time Dom Solanke comes back, you've got 2 strikers at your disposal, albeit we have heard that Lancashire might be looking at a loan move for Lancashire, but surely we can't let him go on loan now with the news of Solanke's injury. So,
but if we do let him go on loan, then I wouldn't mind Ferguson coming in, but
I prefer just to keep Lancashire, like, just keep him around and give him some minutes. You know, Richarlison as well, his fitness is hanging by a thread. You don't know what's going to happen with him. So maybe we do need to bring in a loan player, but I prefer maybe to get someone a bit better than Evan Ferguson.
Yeah, I think a winger. I just think we need a winger. I think that's more priority in my opinion.
But then again, if we do bring in a winger and not a striker, and Richarlison gets injured over the next couple of weeks, all of a sudden we've got only Lancashire.
Yeah, true. That's also a problem. But then that'll only be for a couple of weeks before Solanke's back. So I don't know. Son obviously can fill in that role sometimes. I just feel like we need a winger, a real winger right now.
Probably need both, to be fair.
Yeah,
but a winger is.
A winger striker. Moani just would have been put like a winger who can play up front as well. That would be perfect.
All right, last but not least, not a real update, but something to talk about anyway. Romano said that Wolves have a strong interest in Johnny Cardozo, and he did say a reminder that Tottenham do have an option to buy the player for 25 million euros in the summer. Not only do we have a buy option, but we've also got a sell-on fee percentage, 35% of the transfer. So if Wolves were to buy him, we would get 35% of that. But Edu Burgos from Dario AS out in Spain says Johnny Cardozo will not be leaving Betis this month. Do you feel like he is a player that we are going to end up signing maybe next summer?
I think there's a good chance. At that price, if we really believe he could fit our system, I mean, at that age, at that price, I think it's such a low risk kind of deal. I think we'll probably definitely look. It depends how his second half of the season goes. I know he's picked up an injury this season, but he's back fit playing. From what I've been hearing, he's having a very good season. From what I've been hearing, he's doing really well, on a general basis, pretty consistent. He's an absolute monster when it comes to the amount of defensive attributes he has, and he's pretty decent on the ball as well. But he is still quite young, and he's still got developing to do. Is he necessarily a better player than Basuma or Bentancur right now? I'm not convinced. But he's also quite young, and maybe we believe he's got more attributes than those two to really fit our system. So I think obviously depends how the next 6 months goes. That's the real truth. But I think there's a good chance we do it, yeah.
And something's just come about. Spurs have just officially announced that Tottenham Academy goalkeeper Luke Gunter has joined National League side Wealdstone
Raiders
on loan until the end
Raiders.
of the season. So the Wealdstone Raider will be keeping a close eye on you, Luca.
We have to get him on the channel.
Yeah,
we have to get the Wealdstone. Where is he? Anyone have a contact?
You want some? I'll give it you.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's great. I love that.
But no, good for him. He's going to get some consistent minutes in the National League. And every time I've seen him play, whether it be for the under-21s, I've been really impressed with him. Really impressed.
Yeah. For some reason, you said he hasn't been playing for the under-21s this season.
I think he has started playing more recently.
Okay. So, yeah, he had some really good appearances in pre-season, didn't he? So let's just hope he can carry that on. Obviously, we've got some really good young keepers at the moment. with on loan, you've got Keeley, just got Player of the Month in the whole of League One. Not even Orient Player of the Month, the whole Player of the Month. Now you got Gunter there. You've got on our team, you've got Austin, who's our third choice keeper. You got Kinski, who's 21, and Vicario's not even old.
Isn't Josh Keeley scored the same amount of goals as Richarlison this season?
He has, yeah, unbelievable. Well, no, Richarlison's got 2 now in all comps. But yeah, so look, chock-a-block for attack. That's what it should be, to be honest. And you know, if they don't make it here, if they're good talent, and you get good money for them, that's kind of what Chelsea do, isn't it? They just have so much talent, and if they're kind of can't fit in your squad, you sell them for good money, and that's kind of what I think that's Levy's wet dream, and that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we brought to you today, and we move on. And now it's time to look back at the whole